Hello, everyone. This is going to be an interesting SESSLERS something because I think I'm about to sort of confess something I can't believe I'm confessing. So there's a game that I'm reviewing. Forgive me, I can't name it. The review will be up later this week. And it's interesting when you're reviewing a game because you only have a certain amount of time. There's something called an embargo that we get from the publisher so that if we're allowed to talk about the game ahead of the game's actual release, we kind of abide by that. Everyone puts it up at the same time. Lately, in the past quarter, those have been happening with a very, very short lead. Thursday is when it goes up. We have to do some video editing, so that has to kind of be done by Tuesday. I got the game on a Friday. So, you know, you play it throughout the weekend. And one of the things that is always out there in the back of my mind is, what if I can't play the game? What if it becomes so hard or there's a puzzle I can't seem to understand and I can't proceed? You know, what do you do? And that happened. It wasn't a puzzle. It was a combat sequence. 6 hours, screaming. I rage bit my controller. I can't get through it. And it really was kind of a phenomenal moment. You know, when you are a reviewer, you're kind of a jack of all trade, master of none. But the sense is that because of your frequency of playing games, you're just that much more adept. You can handle most variety of things. You know, I know my weaknesses are sports games and real-time strategy games. I'm pretty good with everything else. So this was the first time in 15 years I'm like, I can't do this. And it had an effect on me that I didn't really anticipate. And it went from frustration, a little anxiety, to, I could feel my ego slowly withering away somewhere inside the annals of my head. And I just started to wonder, am I capable? You know, am I as good? It brought me back to some memories. I don't know if you all know this. When I first started out on GameSpot TV in 1998, I wasn't much of a gamer. I played games, I was aware of games. I seemed to be more interested in them from a critical theory perspective, but I was always kind of very quietly hoping that no one would catch me out and call me out that I was a crappy gamer. Over the years, I played more games and I got a lot better. As you can see, the show improved significantly. But I suddenly had those memories that, what if I'm not qualified to be here? What if somebody finds me out? What if you pull back the curtains and it's like, no, I can't do this. I'm not for real. And you lose all your credibility. Yes, this is all that was going through my head. And it was also a really intense feeling of mortality that, you know, I'm not the youngest person out there talking about video games, and it is a skill. It's something you engage with. You know, there's a lot of dexterity that's involved. There's a lot of sort of hand-eye coordination that's involved. And the thing is, you're usually at your best with that in your late teens and your 20s. I'm not in my late teens or my 20s. And I started to wonder, how many years do I have left doing this? Am I still going to be viable? I can think about a game, I can talk about a game, but the actual act of playing a game, unlike any other form of entertainment, well, I guess you need your eyesight to read a book or to enjoy a movie, but you understand where I'm coming from. That, you know, it's almost a sort of temporal, the period of time that you can do certain things with certain games in this form of entertainment. And it was a very sort of dark, lonely place. And all of these things are going through my head as I'm sitting there. I've been sitting on the couch, my hands are all cramped and the muscles are hurting. All I want to do is get past this, see what happens in the game, see what happens at the end. I would love to just kind of close it down because that way I can say hi to my wife and I can sit down with her and I can have some dinner. But I'm stuck there, thinking about death, my own, you know, my career, whether or not what the future is going to be holding. And all that comes from a game. Clearly a very powerful medium. But at that moment, I wished it was a little bit more of a novelty. All right, question time. I'm not going to address all the people who disagree with me on last week's SESSLERS or something. That's fine. This is a question from Peter DeGroff. Hey, Adam, what are your feelings on the Wii U? Do you think that Nintendo will be able to hold its own against the next generation of consoles, or do you think it will be left in the dust? Also, would it be a smart move for Nintendo to stop making consoles and start making games for the Xbox and PS3? This is a question that is voiced a lot. I have commented on it. I'll go ahead and just let you know. I think Nintendo is in a great deal of jeopardy. The sales of the Wii U and of software in January was extraordinarily low, I believe 57,000 units. And the problem with that is, this is the time of year before we get, you know, really more news about the PS4 and whatever the next Xbox is going to be. This is when Nintendo can really kind of own the mind share, and they're not due to the fact that they can't seem to get games out on that console. That is the sole impetus to get people to pick it up. It doesn't have enough breadth of functionality outside of the games to really make the adoption of it at the $350 price tag all that reasonable. It's unfortunate that it did come to market without a clear plan of what game's supposed to be on it. I fully expect some very interesting and fun and exciting Nintendo games, but the thing is, if that doesn't happen until year's end at best, when we're gonna have a Wind Waker remake, that's going up against whatever the new games are going to be for the PS4 and whatever the new Xbox is going to be. It doesn't make a very good case. I think the best shot that Nintendo has is a couple years from now when they can really drop the price on the console and it can become everybody's second console. I don't know if they're really going to make their money back on that. I don't know what the attach rate is going to be with the games, but I think they are in a fairly dire circumstance. I think one of the biggest issues that Nintendo has is that while it is a publicly traded company, the majority of the shares are held by a very, very small group of people, and they're not having the level of accountability to a wide swath of shareholders that a company like Activision or EA or Microsoft have to actually deal with. And it's allowing them to be very insulated in their thinking that if it worked this way one time, it's gonna work this way, and we can somehow browbeat the audience into just kind of getting on with their messaging, and somehow they're gonna buy consoles. It's not going to work out. It's not going to bear out. I know people wonder if they should just start making games for other consoles. I don't think that's a choice they're going to have to make very soon. It's going to be made for them. All right. You probably are going to want to comment on that as well. I'm not going to probably answer that for the next week, but please ask more questions. I will always have an answer for you, except I don't know where your underwear is. You're going to have to find that on your own.